Speaking of, you know what, who I wanted to ask you about, speaking of gay men who you have tried to help in the past, Perez Hilton, he talks about all the time how single he is, literally on his site now, and he just is like, I can't find someone.
He's changed a lot since the Meanie days. And when he came on the show, it was just that it was not the right casting, because the one that he wanted had a little discretionary background, which I'm not going to get into a long story on that, and it didn't work out. But I told him that keep going. He'd lost the weight. Then he adopts the two, I don't know if, no, they're surrogates, two surrogate kids. He had the most gorgeous house, by the way, in Hollywood. It was stunning. And then he moves to New York. And he said, New York's really hard. And I said, well, move back to LA. And then he moves back to LA. So some people, it takes a while for their number to come up. But he's due. Perez is due.
You think?
And I know how hard it is when he's not like Mr. Hottie Patati and going to the Abbey 7 nights a week. But we're in quarantine now. So maybe a time to get online and connect with someone online. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go on Grindr or Tinder, but you can definitely go on Match.com and find someone who's a little more serious, because it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. It just matters of finding that person that's looking for a relationship. And that's a completely different thing than looking for a hookup, What
type of guy do you see Perez with?
Probably a businessman, like a guy who owns his own business, because he's an entrepreneur and he would identify with that. And maybe someone more masculine than him, maybe like someone who takes charge. Because Perez wants to take charge. And I think it'd be nice if he sat back and laid back and let someone do the driving.
Interesting. And Perez works like a dog. Perez works all the freaking time.
He's always coming up with ideas. He's super genius. You just most people don't know about him. They only see what they see in the media. My favorite was the Perez site with the fashion, but now we have nothing to look at because nobody's wearing any fashion. But that was my favorite site. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
He got rid of he went and meditated and went Zen, and he learned how to change his energy. That's a great story of a comeback, by the way.
He was on my show. It's not out yet. But he was on my show and he was saying nobody wants to date me.
So your words are your weapon. So there's the first point. You can tell him this. Your words are your weapon. Fine. So if you keep saying nobody wants to date me, Ramona says it too. They're both saying it. Nobody wants to date me. Nobody wants to date me. Every person in the universe. No, you don't. Stop saying that, because if you keep saying that, the universe is just going to give. Nobody wants to date me. How about it's harder to find somebody, but I know he's out there. I know there's got to be someone, even if they're outside of New York City. I know there's somebody for me. If Ramona should say, if Perez says, you know what, I've dated everyone in LA. Maybe I need to date San Francisco. You don't know everyone. Okay, stop saying that. Words become what you think. What you think is what you emanate. What you emanate becomes the reality of what you live. End of story.
Perfect advice.